Joining us now to give their take on the day's top headlines are Diamond and Silk, the host of the show Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. So, ladies, when we look at exactly Democrats are doing right now, we see that they want to use the coronavirus and the latest unrest against the country to use against President Trump going into the November election. So, judging by what you've seen so far, how do you feel about President Trump's re-election chances?
I think that the president is going to remain the 45th president of the United States.
Yeah.
People love a leader. He's not leading from the basement, but he's leading from the front. And that's what people love. And so that's why they're going to vote for him again.
And on the other side of that argument as well, we see what Democrats are trying to champion as well. A lot of people looking at Joe Biden as a vehicle for these progressive causes, but a lot of Americans are saying that they don't know if they're necessarily on board with some of these very far left causes. So when we look at what the Democrat Party is putting on their agenda, what's at stake this upcoming election?
Well, what's upset is our country.
That's right. Our livelihood.
If you want to continue to keep your freedoms, if you want to continue to keep your liberties, you must vote for President Donald J. Trump.
That's right.
When you look at the Democrats and how they are leaning so far to the left that they're falling off a cliff, do you want to fall with them? Look at the global elitists, how they haven't said a word about what's happening in our country.
That's right.
Because they're going along with it because they're part of the problem and not the solution. So we better stick with 45. You better stick with President Donald J. Trump. He's the only one standing in the way for them to push this globalism and this communism and this socialism on our country.
That's right. And then when you think about what's at stake, think about your life, your livelihood, who you really truly are, you know, what you represent. You have people that want to take that away from you. Just look around and we've already had a taste of socialism. We've already had a taste of communism. Is that what you want for your life? Answer yourself that question. And if the answer is no or even hell no, then you need to make sure you vote for Donald J. Trump.
That's right.
And when we look back at the 2016 election, of course, which was a successful one for President Trump, he did campaign on exactly what you're talking about right now, the idea of looking out for the American worker over the globalist elites, something that he has continued to say at this point as well. But it was a big part of his 2016 campaign as well that did get him a lot of attention, not only from people who were Republicans, but some people who were maybe just upset with the status quo. So going into 2020, we're about 4 months away from the election. What does the message need to be for the president?
Maintain the message on Make America Great Again, greater than we've ever seen it before. We can keep America great is what we need to do. We don't like what we're seeing in our country today. We see people, these left-leaning liberals, tearing down statues, burning up our flags.
That's right.
You see the left wanting to keep us quarantined in the house, wanting to make us wear masks on a virus with a 98% recovery, okay? And the mortality rate is down.
That's right.
So when we look at all of this here, they want to keep this going, and they're doing it to try to hurt President Trump. And so what people need to look at is look at the man who already had the master plan, already know how to make this place great again. He's already a job creator, know how to create jobs. He already know how to make the economy stronger, bigger, and better than we've ever seen it before. So the message needs to be prosperity. We're moving forward through this pandemic. We're going to be a country bigger, better, and stronger than we've ever seen it before. That needs to be the message.
And don't play into the fear. Don't play into the okey-doke or the hype. Let me tell you, the only thing that's standing behind that curtain is a little old man pulling some puppet strings. Don't play into the hype of the fear.
And when I talked to you two last, you brought up a point that I thought was very interesting. You said you're telling people to vote for the individual, not the party. And currently right now, I think that a lot of conservatives are very upset with the Republican Party. They feel that President Trump is fighting a lot of these battles alone. We often hear him coming out on a certain issue or being strong on a certain issue, but Republican leadership is absent from a lot of these conversations. Would you like to see some of the Republican leadership step up, either support President Trump to some degree a little bit more, or at the very least, speak out about those leftist policies that you're talking about?
It will be great to see the Republican Party as a whole support the President of the United States. Let me tell you something. It saddens me when I see Republicans fold and go cold because they don't want to be called names. Well, they already calling you names.
That's right.
It's time for us to stand up and fight for what's right. When you know you're right, you have to fight for it. We're fighting for our freedoms. We're fighting for our liberties. We're fighting to keep our constitutional rights. We're fighting for who we voted for. We voted for President Trump, and nobody has the right to take that away from us.
And for the ones that's not supporting this president, we call them the deep state snake.
They part of the problem and not the solution.
That's right.
And he's draining the swamp.
He's draining the swamp.
So these are the rats that's probably clogging the pipes.
And even when we look at someone, for example, who is now championed by a lot of those in the media, especially on the left, for example, Mitt Romney, when he ran for president, he was called racist as well. He was called misogynistic, things of that nature as well. But now he's become a little bit more of a media darling. So I think you're right to say that no matter what position you take, Republicans will always be labeled in some sort of way, whether it's fair or not. So I think it is time for the Republican leadership to look past those criticisms and start doing what their constituency is asking for them to do. I think you're right on for saying that. Diamond and Silk, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.